Hey guys, what's up? This is Laugh Life Sports, and continuing with my NFL predictions, this is the NFC South. Off the back, let's start off with first place. My predictions, I think it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. I'm all aboard the Falcons here. I think they're going to get through this division with a little struggle, but I think they're going to end up on top. I think predicting going 12-4. Really like this offense. I love the addition of Julio Jones, even though it cost him a lot in the draft. MVP on this team, Roddy White. Guy's a monster. I had him as my #1 receiver coming into this year, even ahead of Andre Johnson. I think Julio Jones is, again, a great impact for him. But I still think Roddy White gets gets a lot of touches. Think he's still the main touchdown threat, and I think even though Julio Jones is nice here and the receptions on White will go down, that he's still just gonna be a monster. He's gonna put up like 1,400 yards, 8-9 touchdowns. I just think he's gonna be dominant. Sleeper on this team, I actually think if you're in a PPR league, it's gonna be Jaquez Rogers, the rookie out of Oregon State. The guy was dominant throughout college as a running back / wide receiver. His brother's coming out next year. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. But this guy can catch the ball out of the backfield, and Turner really can't, so they're going to put him in on passing downs, even ahead of Jason Snelling, because he can. This guy is great with the ball. He moves around a lot. He's going to be putting it in passing plays. And he's a nice little flex option in PPR leagues. So I think he's an interesting option there. Moving on, I think I'm going to surprise people with this pick a little bit. Second place, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's right. I'm going with Tampa Bay. Last year, I thought this team was going to be the worst in the NFL. Wow, was I proven wrong. I thought this team was going to be the team that got Jake Locker. Because remember how we all thought Jake Locker was going to be the first pick? I hated Josh Freeman last year. He proved me wrong. I am in love with him this year. The guy, with all of his rushing yards, didn't score a rushing touchdown last year. Give him 4 rushing touchdowns. He just added 25 points to his total. He was the, I think, 7th best quarterback last year. I think he is going to be the MVP of this team. And I think that this is more of like an MVP tandem between him, LeGarrette Blount, and Mike Williams. I mean, all those guys had great years. Two of them were rookies. Freeman's in his second year at Kansas State. LeGarrette Blount first year at Oregon. Big Mike Williams, the Tampa Bay version out of Syracuse. Young guys feature that franchise. I have a team where I own all 3 of them. I mean, I love these guys. They're coming at great value in the draft. If you're gonna wait on a quarterback, he's the guy to get. LeGarrette Blount could probably get 4th round, even though he didn't have great week 1. Mike Williams was the most consistent player, arguably, last year. So that MVP 3 tandem. Sleeper. It's going to be one of those wide receivers. Personally, I think it's going to be Aurelius Ben. But I would not be surprised to see Desmond Briscoe or Sammy Stroughter step up. LeGarrette Blount doesn't catch much out of the backfield. Kellen Winslow's done. And they can't throw the ball to Mike Williams all the time. Freeman does pass a lot, so I think that Ben's going to get a lot of the targets, and he's going to be a nice guy deep in maybe audible in 10-team leagues once he starts to heat up. Third place, Saints. I don't like the Saints this year. I think that defense is absolutely awful. I don't trust it one bit. I predicted this last year. I'm going with it again this year. I'm sticking with my guns. Saints will not make the playoffs. That's my prediction. I think they're going 9-7. By the way, I think Bucks are going 11-5. New Orleans, nice and all, but Pierre Thomas is an injury risk. Mark Ingram I don't think he's going to be an amazing NFL back. He's going to be a good back. Just okay. Ivory, I mean, they have depth at running back with Ivory, and then Sproles. Sproles is a nice guy out of the backfield. And Breeze is Breeze, but gosh, I just hate their defense. That defense is absolutely awful, and they can't win games without a defense. I was impressed how they played against the Packers last week, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I think they're going 9-7. MVP, this isn't going to shock anyone. Breeze, he's led that city, he's led that team. He's just a monster. He's a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the NFL. Sleeper, fashionable sleeper, excuse me. Jimmy Graham, the second-year tight end. This guy turned it on late last year, and I think I'm having him 7th in my rankings as tight end. I think tight end is a really weak position. This guy can really step up because they do spread the ball around, but I don't trust any of those receivers there. I think they're so inconsistent because he spreads the ball around. He's just going to be a consistent commodity. 5 catches, 70 yards. Touchdown every other game. I think this guy can end up with like 7 touchdowns and 700 receiving yards. And finally, Panthers. Do not think the Panthers are going to be a good team this year. I'm going to say this right now. I don't think Cam Newton's going to be a good NFL quarterback. This is supposed to be preseason predictions, but I don't care what he did last week. He's not he's not going to be a star NFL quarterback. I'm sorry. He's Vince Young all over again. You are lying to me if you told me that you knew who Cam Newton was before week 1 of the college football season last year. No one knew who he was. Okay? The Auburn team, they have less plays in their playbook than my high school football team. We're in a Division III high school football team, and we went 1-8 last year. Okay, we're not a good. We have more plays than them, and they're a Division I college football team. Cam Newton's gonna struggle. He's a complete bust for me. I think the sleeper on this team is going to be David Geddes, the second-year receiver. Steve Smith had an awful year last year. I think he had like 55 fantasy points. I think Newton's going to be better than Clausen last year and Tony Pike and Matt Moore. They'll pass the ball a good amount. And I think that Steve Smith is done. I think David Geddes can actually have a nice little breakout year here. MVP of the team is D'Angelo Williams. I don't think D'Angelo deserves a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick, but he's falling so far in drafts. I got him like the 9th round in a PPR keeper league. Why, if Carolina didn't want him, why did they re-sign him to this big deal in the offseason? I think that Jonathan Stewart's on rent. It's the last year of his rookie contract. I think that D'Angelo's going to get all the rushes, and then Stewart's just going to be the big guy in the backfield because they're going to just use his body. They don't care if Stewart gets hurt. I think D'Angelo's going to get like 1,200 yards with like 4 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a great year for where you're getting him. Stewart is just going to be the touchdown vulture because I don't think they're re-signing in the offseason because if they did, it'd just be a waste of money to pay 2 running backs that much money. All right, guys, Laugh Live Sports. I know the sports ones aren't like funny, but hopefully they can help you guys out. Learn about a few guys you haven't heard of, and hopefully they'll help you out this year. AFC coming up next. Peace. Subscribe.